Do not eat the unicorns. That's a very unusual expression. Unicorns, of course, are something special to certain people. I know I was called a unicorn, and that was just a joy. I belong to a group called the National Speakers Association, the Northwest chapter. And this year that just ended, the president, Elisa Hayes, told the board, of which I am a member, do not eat the unicorns. What she meant by that is our group had a tremendous amount of assets. We had great programs. We had lots of value for members. And she wanted us, as the stewards of this group, to focus on those unicorns and to preserve them, to make sure we don't forget them. Because if we kill and eat the unicorns, we would be history. Well, unicorn is an asset. It is a plus. It is an advantage. And as we approach the 4th of July, which is considered the birth date for this nation, we have a tremendous amount of unicorns. For instance, the freedoms that we Americans enjoy, such as the freedom of religion, the freedom to vote, the freedom to assemble and express our opinion, and most important, the freedom from fear. Another set of unicorns are our values. The value of personal integrity, accountability, honesty, compassion, and giving a helping hand to others to bring them up, to lift them up. American diversity is another unicorn, and so is American progress. We've come a long way in our 200 plus years. As I was watching the debates last night and the night before, I noticed a couple of things that I'm sure that you noticed if you watched. There were over 20 people who say they want to be president and have the wherewithal. We also had a diversity, not only a diversity of men and women, a diversity of heritages, we also had a diversity of opinions and plans on how we're going to get to where we need to go. A diversity of styles, from bombastic to casual to professional to maybe esoteric. And that's a good thing, because this debate and the upcoming election, especially for the Democratic side, will be which person will represent the American public in going against the existing president. I believe the most passionate group, well, not the candidates, though they were, and they often interrupted each other and walked on each other's toes and occasionally argued, but the audience was passionate. When they heard something they liked, there was a tremendous amount of applause, even though the panelists suggested that they didn't, but they couldn't contain themselves. In watching these debates reminded me of some lessons of leadership as they relate to unicorns. Lesson number 1. A good leader must be engaged. Leadership is not a passive activity. You just can't sit back and let others do the work. The leader shows the way and is engaged and involved. The second lesson I learned from the debates is that a leader must have an uplifting vision. A vision that takes us from where we are today to where we want to be in the future, both short-term and long-term. The third lesson is a leader must have a great, compelling message. A message that appeals to a tremendous amount of people. And I believe that that's what this party is going to have. The biggest challenge is trying to get the diverse group that falls under this tent, this umbrella, to see that there are some commonalities. Lesson number 4 is a leader must constantly recruit. You never stop recruiting people to your cause, to where you want to go. I didn't see much of that in the people on the stage last night, but of course the format may not have allowed them to do so. Lesson number 5 is a good leader invites you on a journey. No matter how long, no matter how arduous, no matter how difficult the journey, the leader recruits, and asks you to go along. And because I have a half on everything, here is the 5th and half lesson that I got from the debates. There are 2 ways that you can lead people. One is through attraction. That's where you preserve, protect, and grow the unicorns. And the second way to lead, and I'll put lead with quotes, is through repulsion. That is the person who is willing to kill and then eat the unicorns. As a student of leadership and, of course, a concerned citizen, I'm going to watch this unfold over the next year and some months. I want to see which of those people that were on the stage is the preserver of the unicorns. Who is that person that wants to grow the unicorns? I also want to know who is that leader that's going to be a true leader and not a politician. Because whatever problems we have, whether you agree with them or not, we need someone who will act as a leader and not as a politician. And the third thing that I will be watching for, to see which of these men and women take the high road. It's too early to tell. So think about you. What are your unicorns? Whether the unicorns of your team, your company, or maybe yourself. Are you doing your best to preserve, protect, and grow the unicorns? Or are you like some people who just want to kill all the unicorns because that's what they believe is the American way? Time will tell.